Hey, this is Michael.
And this is Emma.
And today we're getting into something that's, what's all around us. Music.
Absolutely. But the language we use to talk about it can feel so academic, so impenetrable.
It really can. So our mission today is pretty clear. We're going to take those core concepts, the building blocks of how music is actually structured, and just break them down into a vocabulary you can actually use.
Okay, so I think the best way to tackle this is to maybe group it into three big areas based on the sources. We have time,
Which is your rhythm, your meter, your tempo.
then we have volume, which is dynamics,
Loud and soft.
and finally quality, which covers pitch and what's called tone color. So out of all of those, where do you think people get most tangled up?
Oh, it's almost always in that first category. In time. Specifically trying to separate rhythm from meter.
People use them interchangeably.
All the time. But they are completely different things.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you can walk away from this, just understanding that one distinction, the pattern of the notes versus the underlying pulse, you will hear music in a totally new way.
That's the goal then. We want you to stop feeling, overwhelmed by the jargon and actually have the tools to analyze anything, whether it's Mozart or something brand new.
Exactly.
So let's jump in. Let's start with time and the absolute foundation of it all, which is rhythm.
Rhythm is, it's the driving force. It's the first thing you feel. Fundamentally, it's just a specific arrangement of long notes and short notes in a piece of music.
So it's the actual pattern you hear.
It's the pattern. It's fluid, it's complex, it's what makes a melody memorable.
Okay, so if rhythm is the arrangement, we need some way to measure it, and that's where the beat comes in.
The beat is your unit of measurement. It's like the ticking of a clock that runs underneath everything else.
It's what you tap your foot to.
Exactly. When you nod your head, you're tracking the beat. But, and this is crucial, not all beats feel the same. Some are stronger than others, and that's because of the accent.
Right, the accent is what gives a beat more emphasis. It makes it sound louder or more important.
And that's how we start to organize time. Without accents, it would just be a flat, endless stream of ticks. The accents create patterns.
Like when you're walking, every step is a beat, but you naturally put a bit more weight on one foot.
A perfect analogy. And that repeating pattern of strong and weak beats, that is what we call meter.
Okay, so rhythm is the sentence, but meter is the grammar. It's the structure.
That's a great way to put it. Meter organizes the beats into these predictable recurring groups.
And in most of the music you'll hear, there are two main types of meter. First up is duple meter.
Right, grouped in twos, 1, 2, 1, 2.
It feels very stable, very straightforward. You think of a march or something like Yankee Doodle.
You know exactly what's coming next.
Then you have the alternative, which is triple meter.
Grouped in threes, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It has a very different feel. It's more flowing, almost circular.
A waltz feeling.
A waltz, exactly.
Yeah.
Or something like the Star-Spangled Banner. That 1, 2, 3 gives it a sense of forward momentum.
Okay, now this is where the sources introduce something that can feel a bit technical. Compound meter.
It sounds much scarier than it is, I promise. All it means is that we're dividing the main beats up differently.
How so?
So in a simple meter, you divide a main beat into two smaller pulses, 1 and 2 and. But in compound meter, you divide each main beat into 3 quicker pulses.
So let's take the most common one, compound duple. You still have two main beats, 1, 2.
Right, but hidden inside each of those is a little triplet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you feel two main beats, but you also feel this underlying pattern of 6.
And the classic example they give is row, row, row your boat.
It's perfect, because you can count it in 2, but if you really listen, you can feel that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lilt underneath. It makes it feel quick and smooth at the same time.
So let's just hammer this home one more time. The key distinction.
Rhythm is the specific, unique pattern of notes the composer actually wrote. Long, short, short. Meter is the simple, regular, unchanging background pulse. 1, 2, 1, 2.
And the real magic happens when the rhythm plays against that steady meter.
Exactly. And that's a perfect transition, actually. Because once we know how the notes are arranged and grouped, we have to talk about how fast it's all happening.
Which brings us to tempo.
Tempo is, simply put, the speed of the music. It's the rate at which those regular beats are coming at you.
We can measure it with a metronome, clicks per minute, but that's not really how composers talk about it, is it?
Not really, no. They use a whole set of Italian terms that describe not just the speed, but also the character, the mood.
Right. So let's run through a few of the big ones. At the very slow end you have
Largo. Very slow and often very solemn. A little faster than that is adagio, which is still slow, but maybe a bit more expressive.
And then in the middle, you have things like andante.
Which I love, because it literally translates to walking along. It gives you a perfect sense of a moderate, comfortable pace.
Then we speed up. We get moderato, which is moderate.
And then allegro,
Fast
and cheerful. And even faster, vivace, which means lively or spirited. And then at the top, you've got presto. Very, very fast.
So the takeaway is that when a composer writes allegro, it's not just a technical instruction, it's an emotional one.
It's an emotional instruction. They're telling the performer to play with a certain energy, a certain character. Beethoven doesn't just write slow movement. He writes andante because he wants that specific walking quality. It defines everything.
Speaking of character, let's talk about what happens when you break the rules. Let's talk about syncopation.
Syncopation.
Yeah.
So we've established that meter sets up this expectation of strong and weak beats. 1, 2, 1, 2.
You expect the accent on the one?
You expect it on the one.
Yeah.
Syncopation is when a composer deliberately puts the accent somewhere you don't expect it, on a weak beat or even in between the beats.
It creates this little jolt of surprise.
It's all about tension and release. It throws you off balance for just a second, and that creates excitement and forward drive.
And this is just, it's fundamental to so much popular music, especially music from African-American traditions.
Absolutely. The sources point to Scott Joplin's Maple Leaf Rag, which is a perfect example.
How does that work there?
Well, the left hand is playing this very steady, predictable march. 1, 2, 1, 2. But the right hand is playing this melody that dances all around those beats, putting accents in all these unexpected wrong places.
So you have that contrast, the steady pulse and
Yeah.
the rebellious rhythm.
Exactly. That push and pull is what gives ragtime and later jazz all of its incredible energy.
Okay, let's shift gears completely. We've talked about the structure of time. Now let's get into the physics of sound itself. Let's talk pitch and dynamics.
Right, so all sound is vibration. Simple as that. A guitar string, the air in a flute, something is moving back and forth very quickly.
Yeah.
Pitch is just how fast that thing is vibrating. We call that its frequency.
So slow vibrations
Our low frequency, which our ears hear as a low pitch.
and fast vibrations.
High frequency, a high pitch. It's a direct relationship.
Yeah.
And our ears are just incredible machines. We can hear vibrations from around 20 per second all the way up to 20,000.
And to make music out of all those possible frequencies, we have to calibrate them, right?
We have to tune them.
Huh.
In a modern orchestra, for example, the note A is standardized to 440 vibrations per second. That gives everyone a common reference point.
Okay, so that's the high-low aspect. What about loud-soft? That's dynamics.
But dynamics is all about the amplitude of the sound wave, the strength. If you hit a drum lightly, you create a small wave with low amplitude, and it sounds soft.
Hit it hard, you get a big wave, high amplitude, and a loud sound.
Exactly. And once again, we turn to Italian for the language. The two main anchors are P for piano, meaning soft, and F for forte, meaning loud.
And then we can modify those. You can add mezzo for medium,
So mezzo piano is moderately soft, or you can add isimo for very.
pianissimo, PP, is very soft.
And fortissimo, F, is very loud. It's amazing how those little letters can mean the difference between a whisper and a thunderclap.
But the sound isn't always static, it changes.
Right, and the transition terms are just as important. A crescendo is when the music gradually gets louder.
And a diminuendo is when it gets softer.
And those shifts are pure emotion. A long, slow crescendo builds incredible tension. A sudden drop to pianissimo can feel so vulnerable.
Okay. This brings us to our final dimension of sound. We've done time, we've done volume, now for quality, or tone color.
Tone color, or the technical term is timbre, spelled T-I-M-B-R-E.
And this is maybe the most intuitive one. It's just why a flute sounds different from a trumpet.
Exactly. Even if they're playing the same note at the same volume, you can instantly tell them apart. That unique quality sound is its timbre. It's caused by all the complex, tiny vibrations and overtones that each instrument produces.
And the orchestra is basically a giant paint box of these different tone colors, organized into 4 big families.
4 main families: strings, woodwinds, brass, and percussion.
So let's start with the biggest section right at the front, the strings.
The strings are the core of the orchestra. The violin family, so violin, viola, cello, and double bass. They are incredibly versatile.
They can be bowed for that rich, sustained sound.
Or they can be plucked with a finger, which is called pizzicato, and that creates a completely different sound. A short, dry, almost percussive tone color.
Okay, next family. The woodwinds. Sound comes from air vibrating in a tube.
Right, and the really important distinction here is the reed. Something like a clarinet uses a single, thin piece of cane.
And that gives it that very smooth, warm sound.
But then you have the double reed instruments like the oboe or the bassoon. They use two pieces of cane vibrating against each other. And that creates a much more focused, sometimes reedy or plaintive sound.
And I'd have to mention the saxophone. It looks like it belongs with the brass.
But it's a woodwind. It uses a single reed, just like a clarinet. It was only invented in 1840, which is pretty recent in the grand scheme of things.
Now for the loud family. The brass.
Usually the loudest and most brilliant sounds in the orchestra. Here, the sound starts with the player buzzing their lips into a cup-shaped mouthpiece.
And they change the notes by changing the length of the tube the air is vibrating in.
Exactly. On a trumpet or a French horn, you press valves to open up extra bits of tubing. On a trombone, you physically move the slide in and out.
So simple, but so effective. Finally, the percussion section. Everything you hit or shake.
And we have to divide this group in two. There are pitched percussion instruments.
Like the timpani, the big kettle drums.
Right. They aren't just for rhythm. They can be tuned to play specific notes. Same with a xylophone or a glockenspiel, which have tuned bars.
And then you have non-pitched percussion.
Cymbals, triangles, a bass drum, they're all about adding rhythmic accent and color, not a specific melody or harmony.
We can't forget the keyboards here, especially the piano.
Oh, absolutely. The piano story is really a story about dynamics. Its original name was pianoforte. Soft loud. It was revolutionary because it used little hammers to hit the strings, which meant for the first time, a player could control the volume just by how hard they played the keys.
Which its predecessor, the harpsichord, couldn't do.
Right. The harpsichord plucked the strings, so every note was basically the same volume. The piano changed everything.
So when you put all these tone colors together, the strings, the woodwinds, the brass, you get the orchestra. And the layout itself is designed for balance.
Totally. The strings are up front so their sound can project, and the louder brass and percussion are in the back. It's a feat of acoustic engineering.
So after all of that, what's the big takeaway for you, the listener? We've covered the difference between rhythm and meter, the power of dynamics, the richness of timbre.
I think it's about moving from just enjoying the music to understanding its architecture. When you hear a piece marked vivace, you'll know it's not just fast. The composer is asking for a lively, spirited character. That knowledge makes the listening experience so much richer.
That's a great way to think about it. And for a final thought for you to explore on your own, we've talked about how rhythm and pitch are these separate but intertwined elements. So think about music that doesn't have a steady beat, music that's non-metrical. If you take away that regular pulse, how does a composer create a sense of emotion or depth?
And the answer is often found in those other elements we talked about. You have to listen for the really subtle shifts in timbre, in tone color, and in dynamics. Those become the primary carriers of meaning. That's where the really deep listening starts.